This is for AO. So this is your second question. I did email you to get your first question, or you can just leave it in a comment here on this video. So we're looking into the legal matter you're currently facing. We get the energy for you, the matter, and the energy between. 8 of Pentacles for you. So you're very committed to this going well, or you've been working very hard to get it to go a certain way. We have the 9 of Cups reversed for whatever the other side of the legal issue is. So this is them not getting what they want or it not going their way, which is confirmed by the 10 of Swords reversed in the middle, because this is like whatever it is that's against you, it ends up almost working out in your favor, and that could be things that were tried to be used against you in court end up falling through or being represented in a way that it works for you instead of against you. Or this could just kind of mean it's going to go in the way that you need it to go so that you can move forward past it. Yeah, the 4 of Wands to clarify the 8 of Pentacles. So that would be the victory coming to you, like your way. You're the home team here in some regard, and you're putting in the work to get the victory. 10 of Swords reversed. A Hierophant reversed. Yeah, that would be the organization, and it's in reverse to clarify the 10 of Swords reversed. So this is it going your way and not the way of whatever is against you. 9 of Cups reversed. High Priestess reversed. Yeah, this would be like a judgment against the other side, or basically working out in your favor, because this is the other side not getting what they want and not... It feels like they misjudge you or the situation, and it ends up backfiring in some way. Yeah, 7 of Swords. They try some kind of strategy to like make you look bad or to try and cut a corner. It's like something like that happens on the other side, but it backfires. What do you need to know about this? Two of Cups and the Lovers. Okay, so I'm 2 of Cups. Let's get a clarifier for 2 of Cups. The Hermit reversed. So it may be that the person on the other side of whatever legal matter this is, you had a personal connection with, or you just... It's whatever this is, emotionally it's shaking you up, and you're not wrong for that, even though you're like, it shouldn't be bothering me this much. You have Page of Swords to clarify the Lover. So something that someone said to you is kind of sitting with you still, and you're having trouble kind of like maintaining the when you get like a big wave of stress, it's like that becomes a little bit more overwhelming, and it's because of something specific that was said to you. Judgment came out in reverse. Yeah, something that you didn't deserve to have said to you, but it's sticking with you still. What does that have to do with the lawsuit? King of Swords reversed. The other side or the other party, King of Swords reversed, don't expect them to necessarily play fair in all regards. Yeah, there's even a white owl on there, but it's in reverse. So don't necessarily expect them to play fair, but it seems as though it doesn't really matter if they play fair or not, because they're going to get caught. Whatever it is that they're trying to do that's like not proper, they're going to end up getting caught for it. Tunnel in reverse and Colt in reverse fell down. So exposing what's going on behind the scenes, and healing was there too. It feels like this ends up going in your favor, but like after a little bit of a shakeup. Oh, and the camera just moved too. After a little bit of a shakeup, you're gonna have to pivot in something here. The Star reversed, 2 of Pentacles reversed, 9 of Wands. You're gonna have to be on the defensive here, because someone's gonna try and mislead, or 2 of Pentacles is in reverse, so maybe try and catch you acting out of character as like a setup type of thing. Like, let me poke at you and see if I can get you to act out of character so that it looks bad. but Nine of Wands is like, just don't fall for it. Like, kind of stay on guard and be aware that other people may be trying to catch you in a situation to get yourself to look bad, so just don't fall into it. Yeah, Temperance, stay balanced, and you know, you already made it through the part that was supposed to stop you from getting to this part. So you already made it through the part that you had to really push forward through. Not that this part is easy. Six of Swords reversed and the Magician. And not that it's easy, but you have the power to flip this card and unstuck yourself. What do you need to know in terms of legal parts of this? The Hanged Man reversed. Knight of Wands, Page of Pentacles reversed, Nine of Swords reversed. So, Hanged Man reversed, Knight of Wands. It's almost like someone wants to like siphon off of your energy here, like in terms of you give an inch and they take a mile. So I would be very mindful about what you say. Like, only say whatever is necessary. Don't try and give like extra credit type statements to try and be like, okay, like believe this or this. Like, just give basically what you need to say and nothing else. Yeah, Page of Pentacles reversed, Nine of Swords reversed. It's like the person on the other side, or whoever's on the other side of this, is gonna try and trip you up in like a, it's basically they want to poke at you until you like word vomit, and then they want to be like, oh look how you messed it up or something. But just don't do that. I would say stick to like the bare necessity of what needs to be said. Emperor and Wheel of Fortune, and it will go your way. Okay, so the only thing that it seems like can really make this turn where it's not in your favor is if you allow them to pull you into some kind of trap where you say too much and then they manipulate what you said. Other than giving them too much info, it looks like this. Yep, Six of Wands. There's the victory, Ace of Swords. True victory. You are speaking your truth or bringing the truth to the forefront, and Six of Wands is upright, so you are going to get that public recognition or victory, which in this case would be whatever legal thing needs to happen here. We have Three of Wands with the Empress reversed, so you didn't think it was going to turn out you still don't think it's going to turn out the way that it's going to turn out. Page of Wands, Ten of Cups. It's actually going to, we had the, what was it, the King of Wands or the Knight of Wands? The Knight of Wands. So we had the Knight of Wands when it comes to what they're trying to do in terms of pull you into the trap and then switch it up on you. But then we have the Page with domestic happiness and things going your way, like in terms of the situation aligning in a way that allows you to either move forward from it or at least get what you need out of it. So it looks like really the only thing that they can do is trap you into getting you to say too much and then using it against you. What else do you need to know about this? Four of Cups. Four of Cups, Page of Cups. Nine of Pentacles. You may actually get a little bit more than you anticipated, or it may go a little bit more well than what you thought could be like the top tier. But it's not going to come easily per se. Ten of Wands reversed, Three of Cups, King of Cups. You're going to have to overcome something here. It's almost like with the Ten of Wands being reversed, we had the Page and the Knight both of Wands. You're going to have like, it's like there's like a trap set. You're going to have to not fall into the trap, and then you're going to have to like regain your balance to get the rest of the way out of the maze, if that makes sense. What do you need to know about whoever is on the other side of this legal matter? Six of Cups reversed, so a break from the past. Queen of Cups reversed. This person doesn't want to see, or whoever's on the other side of this doesn't want you to be at your best and wants to keep you stuck in the energy of whatever is going on. Like, they don't want you to be able to take steps forward after this. So that could be like trying to deplete your energy or trying to just trigger you into like, it feels like trying to trigger you into self-sabotage. Six of Pentacles. We had Six of Cups in reverse, Six of Pentacles. Trying to basically like bait you into either stepping backwards into an energy of the past that didn't suit you, or kind of like tripping yourself up in some regard. Ten of Pentacles reversed. There's a lot of Ten of Pentacles reversed, Six of Cups. There's a lot of like, whatever this legal matter is, after it's over, you need to cut ties with whoever caused this in your life. Because it's like their energies aren't, yeah, Ace of Cups. It's almost giving me the energy of like trying to do whatever is possible to keep you manipulated into feeling like you're stuck and you can't break free from something. Let's see what this is the Brittany deck. I want to see what energy you are viewed as from the other person. The Beach Babe, the Rebel, and the Cusp. So you are on the cusp of getting your power back, and the other side is not going to like that. See what your soul lesson is from this. The law of eternality. Live like you are dying. So I feel like this, whatever this legal matter is either something that's a long time coming, or it's something that's meant to kind of trigger this whole new series in your life, this whole new chapter for you. And it's almost with Live Like You're Dying and the Gates on the card, it almost makes me think like everything else in your life has been paused until you figure out what's going on with this. And you finally are in the stage of like, okay, now I'm going to be able to figure it out soon so I can figure out how to move forward. It's almost like whenever this happened, yeah, Eight of Cups in reverse. It's almost like the pause button was hit on your whole life when this started to kind of develop. Where did I put that other deck? That's not it. Oh, here it is. Okay. Let me see. We'll do 3 of these. What do we need to know about the lawsuit? So we have the 9 of Spades, accident, trap, pain, a situation forced beyond your control, a gun or shooting, disaster, demo, tragic, high pressure, broken heart, high anxiety, and then we have the Joker in reverse, disruption or unexpected change. So to me, this would be confirming that it's gonna flip and go in your way, because that's what we just said to expect, and that came out in reverse. Let's see what the last one is. Accident, trap, pain. Let me get a confirmation for that. 10 of Diamonds in reverse, large money card. Oh, this is the other side. So the other side may end up owing you more than you expect, or at least it's going to go in a better way than you anticipate right now. Sealing the deal, crowds and arenas, travel, a rocket or nuclear energy, but it was in reverse. Accident, trap, pain. It's like all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you see the light at the end of the tunnel, in terms of you don't know how it's going to work in your favor right now, but soon it's like a kaleidoscope that kind of shifts and everything falls into place and you can see it more clearly. That's going to happen coming up soon with something. It seems like something the other party says that makes you realize something, or something you find out. Let's see. 5 of Wands, 5 of Pentacles, Knight of Cups reverse. Yeah, something that other party says. And it's almost like in a rebuttal, like oh, 5 of Wands, 5 of Pentacles. whatever the other side is trying to do to you to lure you into some trap so they can then like menace up your words, it's like they end up accidentally doing that to themselves when you don't fall into it. So you don't fall into the trap and it like boomerangs back and they end up kind of like falling into their own thing. But it ends up working in your favor. Is that correct? It works in your favor. Queen of Wands, 5 of Cups reversed. Yeah, being able to figure out from whatever hard time you've been through, like whatever you endured from whatever experience, you're using that knowledge to figure out a way to like, it's because of your experiences that you pick up on whatever it is that you're able to use in your benefit. But Queen of Wands upright would be confirming to me that it is going to go in your benefit. What do you need to be aware of? 7 of Cups. Be aware that, one, don't ever feel like you're out of options. If you feel like you're in a spot where you're like, oh, well, this isn't going to work and it's the end of the road. It's not. So keep finding other options because you will be able to find something else. Also, how do I put this? If you're perceiving a situation and you're perceiving it as hopeless, you need to figure out how to shift your perception, because viewing it as hopeless or like there's no light at the end of the tunnel type of thing, that's not ever going to help the actual situation. So what needs to be changed, even if it does really seem that way, is your perception of it. And I feel like you know that because you've already done that, but that's something that you just need to stay aware of. 4 of Wands. I think this is, again, coming your way, coming home as like a W, like a win here. Because 4 of Wands would be that victory, and it came out after 7 of Cups. So it's like, as long as you don't tell yourself you're out of options, you'll figure out a way to make this work. But because they also came out, it may get to the point where you feel like it's not going your way and you feel like you're out of options. And if you give up at that point, you might be out of options, but you're not meant to give up. You're meant to keep pushing forward. There is an answer here for you that's going to be in your favor. The Devil reversed, the Tower, and 7 of Pentacles. There's that other 7 to confirm the 7 of Cups. It's going to be in your favor. You're going to overcome whatever it is that's keeping you bound, trapped, or is the evil against you, right? And then we have the Tower, and they're falling out of a tree house here. So it's like whatever the other party thought they had against you that was like stable and secure is all going to fall apart because you figured out another option here. And ironically enough, there's even tarot cards on the table floor here. So you figured out another option. You're being told now that there is another option, and you're going to be the one that puts it in action and figures out how to maneuver that in your favor. So let's see what else. What do you need to know to wrap this up? Treason in reverse. I'm telling you, the other side's going to try and pull something slick, and they're going to be exposed, and it's going to go in your favor. That would be you. The passion part is aligned with the Queen of Wands, which came out for, now I can't find it, but came out for, is it going to go in your favor? We got Queen of Wands. This would be the Queen of Wands. Is there anything that could, at this point, trip you up besides that little trap thing? Just that. Just them trying to manipulate whatever data you give them. This is key. Don't give them more data than you need to give them. Give them exactly what they ask for or exactly what you need to say or provide to make your point, and don't give extra information, because it's that extra information that they're going to use to try and trap you or trick you or something like that. Yeah, don't give them more than they need. Don't give a double. Don't give more than they need. Because if you just give them what they're asking for exactly what they need, and you'll give them just enough. Yes. The last thing is top secret homicide. The main thing that you need to know to not do, so this goes in your favor, do not do this thing. Inside. Do not let other people into your plan. Don't let other people into your plan. You get it. Do not let, and as I say that, justice is sitting right on the bottom of the deck. So don't let other people, so just like I'm saying, don't give them more information than they necessarily absolutely need. Don't give other people that are like, oh, hey, what's going on? Or, hey, tell me about this. Nope, don't give it to them. Even if you normally would, in this circumstance, be cautious with what you tell other people about this situation. I don't know in what way it could be used against you, but just be mindful to just need to know basis until it's done. Need to know basis until it's done. Secret society. And if someone doesn't absolutely need to know something that they're asking you about, just assume that they're asking you because they want to screw you over. They might not, but just until this lawsuit's done, that's what we're going to assume just to be safe. Yes. I wish you the best. Again, it's going to go your way as long as you don't derail it by letting them trap you, which now you know how to not do that, so you'll be fine. And I wish you the best. This is for CR. You talked about being anxious and how it interferes with your ability to connect with yourself, children, and intimate relationships. What should you know to move forward and be confident in knowing if you need to make changes, being a parent, lover, and friend? So the first cards that I pulled, emotionally detached and fearful. The fearful card says a learned behavior that can be unlearned. So this is right away something that you're wondering about how to make changes that you were never taught the way to make. So I know that right off the bat, you hold a lot of guilt for not being where you think you should be yet in terms of like making progress here, but it's not anything that you could have known how to fix until now. Yeah, 9 of Swords reversed. It's like, look how she's kind of just, she's in a hammock and she's kind of shielding her eyes from the sun. It's like, you tried, because it's in reverse, you tried to let the light in. You tried to figure it out, and through no fault of your own, you just were not given the tools initially to know really how to do it. So emotionally detached came out. It says, are you protecting yourself from unwanted drama or stress? And that's exactly what you're doing, is you couldn't figure out how to access the parts of you that needed healing, and you tried so hard that instead of letting them just to continue to drain you, you just said, okay, I'm just going to clip the line for now so that nothing can get through either way, as you continued to search for how to make things better for yourself. So what I'm saying all that to say this, Queen of Swords reverse, stop blaming yourself and stop being so hard on yourself, because you tried to basically do something that you didn't have the tools to even know existed in the first place. And that's not necessarily saying that anyone did this maliciously, because sometimes people teach us the best that they know how, and those tools just don't work for us. But whatever tools you were given just didn't work for you, and you had to go on the journey of getting to a certain point where you could recognize that before you can then correct course. So you're right where you need to be to get to where you want to go, and you're not late or behind, and you're not a bad person, or there's no reason for you to feel shame because of not being able to figure it out yet, because again, you weren't given the toolbox to even fill it with the tools. Like, you needed to create the toolbox for yourself. Yeah, Death and the Chariot reversed. You literally had to overcome everything that was meant to stop you. Like, everything that you're like, oh well, I kind of am still anxious about this, or when I feel better, then all of a sudden my mind goes back to this event. Yeah, because it was supposed to stop you and it didn't. That's why it still has such a hold over you, and why you still have such fear about feeling certain emotions, because they were supposed to stop you and they didn't. So let that empower you instead of further stop you, because we have the Chariot reversed here. So it's like everything that was supposed to work against you actually flipped and worked in your favor. But until you recognize that, you're going to continue to feel stuck. See, there's like a little girl, she's given the skeleton who's like the Grim Reaper, a little pumpkin. that's you. You still saw the joy and the light and all of this in others, but nobody was reflecting that back to you. So you said, okay, well, instead of just turning this off and becoming hard and heartless like what everyone else is showing me they are, I'm just going to kind of clip it so that it can't flow either way while I go on a mission to figure out, like, go out into the world and get examples of what I can do or how I can make these changes. So you've been on a mission, Three of Pentacles reversed, all on your own, because you didn't have anyone that was willing and able to really teach you these things. Yeah, High Priestess. You are struggling right now with this because you are reparenting yourself while simultaneously trying to, well, parenting your children and trying to form and integrate and make healthy relationships. So while you're doing all of this external stuff, you're reparenting yourself. So you have a whole other person who is your inner child that's also under your responsibility and care. You just weren't really recognizing it, right? Because we often, when we have a wounded inner child, don't think that we're deserving of the time and attention it takes to heal that inner child. And that's kind of because you have children and because you're trying to, you know, figure out ways to feel the love that you've been deprived of to some extent, well, to a pretty big extent, right? You're trying to find that, and you all the while are having to, it's almost like while everyone else is putting together a puzzle that was already had all the pieces on the table, you're having to go out and actually find the pieces in the world and bring them over to the table and then put it together. So, and everyone has their struggles. Everyone has, it's not that other people don't have stuff that's hard too, but this is what this was your hard. This was what was hard for you. And so addressing that, you, High Priestess, really had to figure out a way to reparent yourself. And she has like some kind of letter in her hand and an apple. The apple makes me think like Adam and Eve. You had to go out and learn through watching other people and having experiences what was right and what was wrong, what was good and what was bad, even though you kind of knew, but you needed like the programming of witnessing it. And then the letter here is making me think, because High Priestess, higher self, it's almost like your higher self has been waiting for you to get to this point, and now your higher self is like, okay, cool, finally we're here. Like, not finally like behind, but finally like, okay, good, you're finally here. We can finally really get started now. The Lovers reversed and the Hermit. We can finally really get started now, and I can finally teach you how to love yourself, because you didn't have a good example of how to do that originally. Either other people didn't love their own selves, and that was what they taught you, was not loving yourself fully, or people just didn't know how to love you because of they didn't know how to love themselves. But whatever way that came out, Two of Cups reversed, Nine of Cups, all of the love that you were deprived of back then is what you're looking for now. And you're trying to be that love that you never received. So if you think about that, you're trying to be something that you don't have the example of what it is. That's what I mean by reparenting. You're going out and having to find what this means to you. And so in terms of being anxious and that interfering with connection with others, it's like you are kind of sticking to what feels comfortable. You're not changing a lot of what you're trying to do. It's almost like you don't want to disappoint anyone, or you don't want to disappoint yourself, so you're staying in like this comfort zone. But what I'm seeing here for you is Nine of Cups. It's like, in order for you to figure out what feels good for you and have these things not interfere as much in your connections, you just need to start trying new things, trying to put yourself out there in different ways in terms of how you're expressing your love, because this is why you're feeling anxious. You have all of this love inside that wants to be expressed, right? It's been in there for years, just piling up, piling up, piling up. But you've only been taught about this one. Imagine you have a cup of water that's like in your chest, okay, in your heart space. This cup has been overflowing with love for such a long time. With, I mean, your children and relationships, but you're letting it out through this very small straw, because that's the only way that you were taught. And you feel anxious because there's so much love and you want to let it out more. But, and as I say that, my son walks out, You want to let it out more, but all you know about is this little straw that only lets out like 10% at a time. And what you need is a tunnel, okay? That you can just like pour this love out and make yourself feel less anxious, because then you're not drowning on the inside from knowing you have all this to express, but only being able to drip it out little by little. So drip it out little by little. My son shut the door downstairs. Drip it out little by little. So you basically are trying to create for yourself a wider space to pour out more love, and that will allow you to feel less anxious. And that doesn't mean just like, I don't know, like be all of a sudden super overprotective and all over top of what everybody's doing. It just means not holding back what does want to be expressed, not holding back when you want to try a new thing or try to express love in a new way. A King of Swords, being confident in that self-expression and holding your authority, saying, I know that I have something of value to offer and share, and I'm not going to hold back in doing that just because of other people in my past that weren't able or willing to see my worth because they were not willing or able to see their own. Because it all starts and stems from within. The law of harmony, dissolve all discordance and chaos. Let's see, what is the main discordance and chaos hurdle here that's keeping you out of harmony? School. So you need to, again, it's reparenting, learning how to love yourself without a proper example of how to do that previously, which is very difficult. So the people who had that authority in your life, it's not necessarily that they did this on purpose, but there is a lack of knowing how to work through certain emotions. And that's why you're trapped in your mind. The war in your mind, you're locked in there because in order to open the door and get out, you need to pass through or be willing to pass through the emotions that you're suppressing. And that takes away your power. And because that is what takes away your power, it's also how you get your power back. If I know that what's keeping me stuck is that I'm still avoiding feelings or emotions that I'm suppressing deep, 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 deep down, then that is also my key to freedom and moving forward. And it will work. If you put in the work, it will work for you. Let's see what else you need to know here. Two of Swords reversed. Five of Swords. Yeah, it's a mental. Oh, I actually caught that. Knight of Wands. Two of Swords reversed. Five of Swords. Temperance reversed. Knight of Wands. It's a mental, it's almost like you're trapped in your own mind with this, and pretty soon, like, the little stick is going to burn away and fire is just going to explode everywhere. It's like you're trying to break out of the room that's filling with smoke, and you're feeling like you're outgrowing your current self, and that's because you are. It's like your mind and your soul is trying to ascend, but there's still so much of your past that's holding you back, and it's that anxiousness. It's almost like you are in a hot air balloon and the whole basket is filled with like lead or something that makes it really heavy, and you need to take a shovel and shovel out little by little so that your hot air balloon can ascend. But right now it's being weighed down by basically the love that needs to be expressed. And this is self-love. This is love for others. This is love for your life in general. It's like all of this is being held in, and until it begins to be expressed, you're going to keep feeling this very heavy, weighed down feeling. And that's where your anxiousness is coming from, because it's energy that wants to be expressed and it has nowhere to be expressed. So instead of being expressed, it's just circling and circling and circling and almost giving you like a nervous knot feeling in your stomach. You've healed too much to not raise the bar on who has access to your energy. So there's another element of this, that who's around you when you're feeling anxious. Because if there's people that every time you see them, you leave and you realize, why do I feel so anxious all of a sudden? Those are the situations and relationships that need to be reevaluated. And even if you can't cut those people out of your life, there still needs to be an energetic boundary set so that they don't continue to make you more anxious. Behind every strong person is a story that gave them no choice. That's literally what we're seeing here with you. That goes back to the reparenting. That goes back to having to kind of piece together and figure it out now. And so did I. I learned a lot of my things as an adult too, not as a child. So sometimes that just happens, and we need to not look at it as wasted time and just look at it as this is my story and I need to make the most of every single day. The peace you are heading toward is worth everything it will require you to lose in the process. Trust this. And it has a heart on it. You're breaking yourself out of your own heart. It's what I talk about in the blueprint. The whole ascension process, I believe that we come in through the crown, go down. Our energy, our soul is like a ball that comes down and goes through this obstacle course. We go through the crown, third eye, throat. When we get to the heart, we lock ourselves in there so that we don't experience the soul level pain on the lower level chakras. Then we go down, we go into the hell, we root ourselves, and then we re-sprout or regrow. We get back up to our heart space, have to break ourselves out of our heart, and then, and only then, can we ascend back up to spread the word, see things clearly, get back into the crown chakra, and then ascend. So you're in the position now where it's time for you. You've gone through all the hell of the lower chakras, and now it's time for you to break yourself out of your heart. And that requires you breaking your own heart. So when you're facing these shadows that are causing your anxiety, are they going to be painful and difficult? Yeah, definitely. But that's what's required, because you're breaking yourself out of your heart so that you can then tell other people how you did it, be able to see your path clearly, get back into higher consciousness activation in your pineal gland, in your crown, and then ascend. So you're right where you need to be to get to where you want to go. Feeling called to see what Brittany energy you're in. The living legend, the lucky star, the fashionista, and the femme fatale. So you are creating your story, okay? You are writing each chapter as it comes, and you are where other people have other people play a big role in their story. You quite literally are writing this. You're the author, you're the narrator, you're doing so much more in your own story, which means that the power you have is a lot more than you're giving yourself credit for. The lucky star, the North Star, you are able to figure out a way forward from this. The fashionista, this is like a outfit, okay? So this is like the dress, and that's like the coat that goes over it. You are taking pieces, bits and pieces here, bits and pieces there, from your past, from your present, and creating a bridge for yourself into the next ascension for yourself. So what needs to happen for that to happen? The Tower reversed and the Devil. You need to not be afraid to face your shadows. You need to not be afraid to feel like you're not strong enough to do it, because you are, or you wouldn't be being presented with the opportunity to. What is, that's not what I wanted to use. What is the main shadow that you're gonna have? What's your most difficult shadow that you're gonna face? Envy. Reminding yourself that no one has it all and that you are truly good enough. I think this is, while it is partially the envy, like feeling like, why is this good stuff happening for all these other people when even some of them were crappy to me and they're still getting good stuff? Why am I not? I think that's part of it. But what I really think this is the last line. You truly are good enough. You need to believe that in order to bring in the next phases. Codependency. Codependency on feeling like you're good enough. Other people programmed your mind to feel like no matter what you did, that you would continuously and constantly for the rest of your life, if you wanted to feel good enough, you were going to have to prove it at every step. They might not have said it to you like that, but that's how they made you feel, or that's how the program in your mind is running. That you feel like every single step of the way, 20 to 50% of your energy has to go into proving that you are who you say you are. And once you start to put that down, you will find it much easier to face your shadows, because your shadows are trying to tell you who you are. And facing them is you saying, no, I'm not. You're a tool that I'm healing from. I'm using you to my advantage to heal and ascend. So when we are running from our shadows, it's when we kind of are feeling like we deserve them in a way, because we've had them so long, and if we haven't gotten rid of them yet, how do we deserve to now? But this is like jumping face first and saying, I know that I'm strong enough to figure out the root of where these feelings are coming from. And as you begin to express the love and open your heart chakra, open your heart center, you'll find there'll be less. Imagine like a room filled with water. After you start to let some of the water out, you can kind of breathe a little easier and make your way around the room, and it starts to drain. You'll start to feel less anxious as you do that. And so as you do that, not only are you more freely expressing, but at the same time, you are also figuring out the root of what was causing it in the first place. Because after the room drains with all the water, you finally get to the bottom and you realize where it was coming in at. So it's kind of like killing two birds with one stone, where not only are you facing your shadows, but you're also more freely expressing your love. And you'll find that that lessens the anxiety and allows you to feel more confident to face the shadows that you were previously running from. And one last to wrap it up. Oh. Not everyone is your mirror. Sometimes the greatest lesson is witnessing the type of energy you will never match, embody, or reflect. So part of this is you think that because I was around these people, or because I came from this family, or whatever it is for you, right? It's almost like you're constantly trying to prove yourself because they made you feel like you had to, but part of you is trying to prove to yourself that you're not like them, because you're not. You're not, whoever it is that's making you, that implanted this anxiety in you, that you're like, am I like these people? And that's what life is trying to, you're not. You're not like the people who did this to you. So once you really accept that and realize that, you'll see that you don't have to constantly try and prove that to anyone or yourself. And if you just can just be, everything will start to align for you. First, know your worth. Second, control your emotions. Third, never settle. I wish you the best. This is for ML324, looking into childhood trauma. I want to first get the energy of the other people. Like, what about their energy is still sticking with you? Manipulative and resentful, yeah. Okay. So the resentful one says that it's about restricting your emotional happiness, and then manipulative, let go of wanting to exert power over someone. So that's what was done to you, manipulation, and that's what you are still very resentful for, is the fact that others manipulated someone who is vulnerable. So it's kind of like, once you identify exactly the point that pain is starting from, it begins to kind of unravel in a way that you can understand. Yeah, Queen of Wands reversed. What took you out of this Queen of Wands energy? What makes you feel like you can't step into this Queen of Wands energy? Because that is what you're trying to do. You're trying to, you know, get rid of the black spot in the memory and figure out a way to heal from this. So that would be this Queen of Wands, fierce, fire, social energy, being able to like fiercely represent who you are as a person. But there is, again, what we need to look into here is how the manipulation in and of itself is affecting you to this day. Queen of Pentacles reversed, Four of Swords, Five of Pentacles reversed. It's like you're trying, you've tried everything. You've tried everything to access the memories, to delete the memories, to understand the memories, to just carry. Literally every option, you've tried it. Even trying to do nothing and just hoping that it would kind of pull you forward. Five of Pentacles reversed. Let me get a clarifier. The Moon reverse. So here's what I feel. I feel as though it's almost like these memories were on like a time capsule in your mind, right? Where when you were a child, your psyche was like, oh, we can't process this right now. We're gonna have to kind of put this in a time capsule, and we'll pick a date, and when the date comes, we'll start to unravel this again. So I do feel as though it's highly likely that you started to remember this or piece it together in your physical world because it started to come up in your dream world, or it could be daydreams that it feels like sleeping dreams. It started to poke its head through because it was time for you to deal with it because you weren't able to deal with it when it occurred. What caused you to be able to be ready to deal with it? The Empress and Seven of Swords reversed. You started to pick up on the fact that the cycles were repeating. So either the same energies from other people or the same, I get close and then I can't get quite there in terms of success or healing. But it's like you started to pick up on the fact that there was a pattern. And when you started to pick up on the fact that there was a pattern, that's kind of what typed in the code to unlock that time capsule that was like, okay, we're ready to deal with this now. So it started to come out to you in your dreams or just in thoughts or in, you know, synchronicities or music, maybe TV shows, but you started to get clues that helped your psyche put these things together to give you just enough memory to deal with it. So I would say don't try and sit there and access more memories. That's not what you need to do. You're not remembering these things because you're meant to go back and remember all of it. You're remembering these things so that you can be aware of it and start to unpack it from there, not so you can go back and try and relive every memory that your brain purposely locked you out of. There's other ways, excuse me, there's other ways to transmute that energy. Cough. Let me clear my throat. Oh, expression. You've been holding back any form of kind of like expression of your pain or expression of the events, right? Because you're not really sure how to say things about it or what to say about it. It feels like what you need to do is start channeled writing. Just get a pen and paper or like a voice recorder and record yourself talking, but you need to start to express. It doesn't have to make sense. You don't have to share with anybody, but as you let it come out, you're going to start to realize that it's almost like a word comes out and it flies down the street and it lays itself down as like a Lego piece. And then the next word, another Lego piece, and you're building this bridge that there's this giant gap that you can't jump over. Okay. That is the blanks that aren't meant to be filled in. So there's like a ledge here and a ledge here, and you're here and you need to get over here, but there's no bridge and you can't jump because it's too far. And the reason for the gap is that's the gap in your memory, like the space right here where my head's at. This is the gap in your memory. So you have to get from here to here, big gap, right? So you basically need to create this energetic bridge for yourself. And the way that you do that is through expression. The way that you do that is through we also have the Empress, so creation of something. And then we have the Hermit and High Priestess. So using what you've been through, you are the light that helps yourself rise up into this High Priestess energy. Three of Pentacles reversed and the Chariot. And the Chariot reversed. You thought that the fact that it was like you against the situation always, or you against like these memories that you had to carry, that like you against the world type of energy. A Queen of Swords is here as I say that. And you thought that that was something that was working against you, but it's actually becoming like your superpower. It's what's unlocking everything for you in terms of what needs to happen next, because this is the part where changes start to happen. It's like you had to understand a certain, I think it's the memories. It's like you kind of are like, okay, if I could just remember all of this, I could heal from it. But it's Spirit's like, no. I don't want you to remember that. That's not the point here. We're not trying to remember. We're trying to transmute. You don't need to remember all the pieces of the memories to transmute. You just need the general outline of it, I guess you could say. Oh. The law of mental equivalent. Use your imagination to create your dreams into reality. Mental equivalent. You don't need to remember the movie scenes that occurred, but you just need the mental equivalent to have an understanding of what needs to be healed or transmuted. So I think that part of what has held you back is because you're trying so hard to feel like you understand everything piece by piece, but it's like it needs to be understood in a sense of energy instead of a sense of like physical actual remembering. When the universe wants us to grow, she will often shake us out of our comfort zone. You were ready for these memories to be unleashed. It's time to start making people understand it's a privilege to be in your life. I feel like a lot of why you aren't expressing is because there's people in your story that aren't going to necessarily love the roles that they played. But that isn't your sign to hold it in and live with it forever either. There's ways that you can kind of make both sides work where you don't necessarily have to express it to the people, but you can still express it. But there is a form of expression that's definitely needed here. Excuse me, in order for you to heal. And I can't stop coughing. Throat chakra blockage. What's causing your throat chakra blockage? That's what it is. It's a throat chakra blockage. 7 of Spades. War. A curse, something hidden, setbacks, plan reversal, difficulties, frustration. Oh, 2 sevens. 7 of Spades and 7 of Diamonds. Yeah. It's like once you open up your throat chakra and begin to, it feels like a severe blockage, honestly. Once you start to open that up, you're going to start to break free from all of these mindsets that are running that you didn't even realize were running. Yeah, 7 of Diamonds, money and rewards, a raise, psychic and clairvoyance. You said about trying to learn tarot. We have psychic and clairvoyance. Earned success, rewards for past effort and hard work, and it's a double 7. So yeah, it's like you will get lucky. It's not luck because it's hard work that you've been putting in, but like it will seem like you get just lucky. But the key to that is the throat chakra. Your throat chakra is what needs the most attention right now. Which means that on the path of ascension, it means that you did experience, which we know, the heartbreak, right? So when we do the blueprint, we come in, we go through the crown chakra, third eye, throat, which this is blocked. So in order to get back up to here to see things clearly and here to connect with higher consciousness, we need to address here because we can't get here or here until we can get through here. Okay, it's like a ball of energy that goes all the way down and comes all the way back up. So you have already had the heartbreak experience. Now what needs to happen is you need to break yourself back out of your heart so that you can free yourself to go up and address what needs to happen in your throat chakra. How do you break yourself out of your heart? Well, what put you in there in the first place? We need to figure out what about this needs to be expressed, because that's the way with you, it's like you need to burst it open from the inside out, quite literally, in terms of like emotions and thoughts, feelings, everything that's been suppressed and kept inside needs to come out, because until it comes out, it's imagine you're literally locked in your heart. And in this case, and this line might not feel great, but I just need to be honest, in this case, it's almost like nobody else was going to come along and break you out of it when you were younger, and you needed someone to, okay? And since you need to basically reverse whatever it is that put you in there in the first place, you needed someone to come save you and nobody was. So now you need to save yourself, okay? And because that's the only way to reverse what previously happened. So you need, in this case, to burst open your heart from the inside out in terms of letting all of these forms of expression come to the surface that you've been kind of scared or nervous or feeling undeserving of expressing, because no one's going to come and knock it open from the outside in this case, because that wouldn't be a reversal of you needing someone and no one coming. So you need to, from the inside out, start to dump out everything that you've been holding on to all these years. And that's going to be difficult, but it's also going to be worth it. going to give you the reason to really fight, to want to be fully alive and living again, and as opposed to just surviving or going through the motions. Because you are going to see your worth again in a way that you couldn't have before, because what was being projected onto you was people who did not feel that they were themselves worthy, okay? And so they did everything they could to bring you down to their level and make you feel unworthy, even though you were just a child. You were an easy target for them, unfortunately. So this is quite literally like resurrecting your inner child that had to pause herself. It's like your inner child got to 5, 6, or 8 years old. I tend to believe your inner child at 5 or 6 was very, you know, injured, but then when things at 8 years old went the way they did, it's almost like that was when your inner child was like, nope, okay, nope, I'm just gonna literally just stop right now, pause, and then once my adult self comes in and figures out how to unravel all this, then I'll come back to life. That's what this is, your inner child coming back to life. So how do we resurrect your inner child then? Clean up in reverse. It's making a mess. You're going to have to really just dive in head first to all the emotions that you've been avoiding feeling, which is obviously more easy said than done. But it's almost like for you, I'm seeing if you come up with some kind of like, what just flew out? The Radiant Lord, wisdom, paternalism, and kindness. Reparenting yourself here. That's kind of goes hand in hand with what I was about to say. It's like coming up with a routine that you can stick to, that imagine it like if you turn on like a hose and you turn it and the water comes out, you need like 10 minutes a day to go turn the hose on, let water drain out, and then go back. It's not that you need to spend days in like your feelings, right? It's like you need little bursts, and then you'll find that it becomes more sustainable and easier over time. But you need like 10 minutes a day of sitting in your feelings. So that can be journaling. That can be, for some reason for you, I'm feeling if you sit in front of your camera and record yourself, like talking, I feel like that would be very healing for you. Maybe you could even have like a picture of yourself as a child and talk to that picture of you as a child and either record yourself, I don't know, something like that, like whatever you feel like would work for you. You need to do something drastic like that. You need to show your inner child, hey, I'm coming to rescue you. I know you didn't think I'd ever figure it out, but I figured it out and I'm coming to rescue you. That's what your inner child needs from you in order to start to, again, come back to life. It's like resuscitating your inner child. You know how like they can, this is gonna be a weird example, but you know how they can like freeze eggs and sperm and like make babies later? It's almost like your inner child did that at the point of trauma. Was like, okay, nope, I'm just gonna freeze myself and then you can come get me later. And that's what needs to happen here, is you saying, okay, it's later, I'm coming to get you now. That is what opens up the next door for you. Warden of Disc, completion, support, and expediency. So like, do it now. Start now. Do it quickly. Support and completion is coming full circle, because back then you needed the support and you weren't getting it. So you had to spend these years how to figure out how to give it to yourself. And now you're showing yourself through what you're doing that you figured out a way to give that support to yourself. So this is really, I'm feeling like I'm seeing you like sitting in front of your camera and just, you don't have to post it. You don't even have to save it. You can delete it right away. I don't care. But like the act of just doing it is going to be very beneficial and helpful to you. Yeah, the eye with sad. You need to see yourself. Here it is. That's what it is. Pain needs to be witnessed, okay? And before you allow other people to witness your pain, because it's been such a personal thing for so long, before you allow people to witness that, you need to see yourself witnessing it. So because your pain is not your fault because you were a child. So there's literally nothing that you possibly could have done to bring that onto yourself. So in order for your pain to come full circle and be fully healed, it needs to be witnessed because it was others that caused it, right? So in order to bring it back into the same station, pretty much, it needs to have the same form, which is being witnessed by others. But until you see yourself witnessing it, it's going to be very difficult for you to project what you're feeling into a way that can be absorbed or understood by others. And as I look down, communication and mountains in reverse. So, but there's no mountain high enough that's going to keep your higher self from being able to show you how to do it. But the first step here is witnessing it yourself. And I think that means literally, like literally seeing yourself witnessing your healing. The best math you can learn is how to calculate the future cost of current decisions. This is like, if you start today, you're going to see such big changes. Like even if you take 10, 15 minutes a day, maybe even 5, I don't love 5, but I love 10 or more, of just sitting there, take out your phone, turn on the camera, and maybe put it into chapters or put it into segments, put it into maybe like what happened at each age, but start to talk to you, because it's almost like with a therapist or a friend, there's certain things that you'd want to say that you'd still hold back, either because you know, it's too much vulnerability, or maybe because you are still trying to protect certain people from your story, right? Where they don't look as bad as they would if you just told the truth of what actually happened. So when you're talking to yourself in that way, you get to just say everything. You don't have to hold back. And again, you can delete it, you can save it, you can make a Dropbox and save them on a Dropbox so they're on your phone, whatever you want to do. But that's what's blocking you here, is that your pain needs to be witnessed, and you're going to be blocked forever if you don't witness it first yourself, because of how your pain came to be, it's always going to be too overwhelming to first just put it out there without you first being the one to witness it. So you can make sure that you're comfortable with how you're expressing it, if that makes sense. You can't beat someone who refuses to quit. And it's like tiger claw stripes. You have literally scratched, clawed, and climbed your way out of the pits of hell, literally. And I don't think you give yourself quite enough credit for that. Just because you can't remember it doesn't mean that you still didn't experience it, and doesn't mean that it still wasn't as traumatic as your soul is trying to tell you that it is. The law of oneness. Release the need to make anyone wrong and unify with your truth. Release the need to make yourself wrong. Release the need to find the flaws in your story, because part of you still thinks, well, maybe I'm just not right about this or that, or maybe I'm just overreacting. I think you're past the am I overreacting? I think you know you're not overreacting, but there's still part of you that goes back and forth about something. Natural causes. I think part of you still goes back and forth about, would it have happened multiple times if you could have gotten to the right person to say something? And I think that that is what you need to let go of, because as a child, there's no way that you can put that responsibility on yourself. There's no way that you can put that responsibility on yourself. It was not your responsibility to know that you had to go to someone else, or to know that you had to say this or that. That was not your responsibility. Last one to wrap it up. Isn't it amazing how things seem to come around again full circle in ways you could not have possibly planned? You wonder how a dream could die only to be resurrected. I'm gonna start over. Sorry. Isn't it amazing how things seem to come around again full circle in ways you could not possibly have planned? You wonder how a dream could die only to be resurrected years later when you are fully ready. You thought it was time back then, but your wisdom knows better than your small self, whose desires are unmet. Now, here you are with a new opportunity to do things from a different, more mature perspective. We want you to trust that in this new opportunity for rebirth, you will be called in 2 directions, and the one that is unfamiliar will be the right one. In the unknown spaces, the uncharted places of infinite potential, we are waiting to guide you into your fullest life. Big bounty will come if you remain in the present. You have come full circle, and now you can see that everything changes, is made new, and given new hope. That was perfect. I wish you all the best, and you got this, and it's time to express. This is going to be for JM82. So you own a house with an ex that you are karmically attached to the house, not the ex. Should you sell the house? You feel like you just can't let it go. You are being presented with a choice, evolve or remain. Okay, I see where this is going. Okay, so let's see. Evolve or remain. So to me, that would mean that remaining and evolving are not the same because they're different. So evolve and remain would have to be separate from one another, meaning that you cannot evolve while you remain. So let's see your energy, the house's energy, and the energy between. 8 of Swords, Knight of Swords. So for you, it's draining you or keeping you stuck. You may have overcommitted yourself to whatever it is that this house is replacing for you. We'll go into that in a minute. And then the Knight of Swords is upright for the house. But to me, it feels like once you release yourself from this, things will start moving more quickly for you. Let's get the energy between. Ace of Pentacles, new beginnings. And look, there's a house in the background there with new beginnings. So it's like, come out and go the other way to find your new beginning. Let me get clarifier for 8 of Swords. 10 of Swords reversed, releasing the pain. Healing yourself by cutting away that which is not serving you. Being able to know when enough is enough in this case, it feels like. Ace of Pentacles, Wheel of Fortune. Once you start moving forward, things will quickly open up for you, I said. Wheel of Fortune is that good, solid change that you've been trying. It's almost like you've been like trying to push it up over the hill, and this is it finally going up over the hill and rolling down the other side where like the grass can finally be greener type of thing. Let me get a clarifier for the Knight of Swords. 9 of Pentacles. You will get what you want once you walk away from this house. What is causing you, what's the karmic tie here? So you, the karmic tie and the energy between. 2 of Cups reversed. It's like you've had this lesson in past lives of knowing when to walk away when things were done. And this was kind of like a lesson in that, is almost like you said karmically attached to, and right away that's making me feel like on a soul level, your soul understands this as a completely different test than what your earthly self sees. Your earthly self sees, you know, the house and what you'll lose if you lose the house, and what you could potentially not gain if you do keep the house. Where on your soul level, your soul just sees, okay, is she gonna let go and walk away because the energy of the place and the situation is what's tying you to an energy that you're trying to ascend above, right? So 2 of Cups coming out there is very interesting because you said a house with your ex, and you specifically said, I'm not karmically attached to the ex, it's the house, right? But this is like you're right, you're not karmically attached to the ex, you're attached to the house, but at the same time, the house or the keeping of the house, whatever it is, holds energy, and that is what's keeping you in your current reality. The house, 3 of Cups reversed, or 3 of Swords reversed. This is about releasing. It's like, this would be her on the floor, but since it's in reverse, she's like on the ceiling. You've had it, you've gained everything that you could gain from this experience, house, and person. Even if the person's still kind of in your life, even if they're not at all, whatever you were meant to get from this evolution-wise, you've gotten it. So now you figuring out how to release the house from your energy is you saying, okay, I recognize that I've completed this chapter and I'm ready for the next one. Like energy-wise though. 10 of Pentacles reversed. 10 of Pentacles reversed and the Empress. You cutting ties and uprooting yourself from that which you think you're attached to is actually going to be your greatest power and is what puts you back in your throne. What is your soul lesson from this? The law of allowing. Stop trying to fix, change, or control anyone. I don't think it's so much this last line, but the law of allowing. What you allow will continue. Are you allowing yourself to remain stuck and then questioning where the stuckness is coming from, especially energetically? Because it seems as though the stuckness is coming from the need to cut ties with, it's almost like the need to cut ties with the house is coming from the connection or whatever it is that you feel is karmically tying you to the house. Like the house has become energetically what it previously energetically symbolized to you. So let's say the house at the time that you bought it with your ex symbolized that domestic happiness, filling in all the blanks that you were longing for, and then it turned out to not be that way. So your karmic attachment to the house is you feeling like you're not ready to fully restart, not deserving, not worthy, not capable, whatever it is that your brain is telling you. It's like you holding on to the house is that last little grab that you have onto this string, and on the other side of the string is like, if nothing else goes right, I can go back to this as like a comfort thing type energy. And at the same time, the house in your psyche is representing to you excuse me, whatever it is that energetically didn't fit into the puzzle the first time around, but like that piece doesn't even really belong in your puzzle. It's more of the energy that came with it and the lessons that came with it that you were meant to overcome. The Fool, the Page of Swords, and the Moon. It's more of the lessons and the energy that you were meant to overcome. And now the Fool, you're meant to take this leap of faith on yourself now to restore the balance, temperance. And with the Moon here, it has 2 houses in the background with 2 wolves howling at the moon and then 1 woman in the middle. It's like you're on this side, you need to get to this side. You can have the life that you thought you were going to have over here, but somewhere else. But like energetically, you need to cut ties. You have 3 of Pentacles reversed and the Chariot. Stepping into your own energy and cutting ties with that, what's keeping you bound. I think it's like you don't really recognize how the energy of the situation is affecting you, and it's because there's still some things that are unhealed that need to be addressed that you think that you're more healed from than you are. And that's not your fault. You are worth it, been worth it, will forever be worth it. Don't negotiate your value with anyone. Don't negotiate your value with anyone. That's what it is. It's like you're trying to subconsciously prove to yourself something. I'm wondering if it's you trying to prove that you can do it, or you trying to prove like that you weren't all the way wrong about something the first time. There's something, but it's not like a your fault thing. It's like a childhood trauma type mindset that's keeping you stuck in that energy. 7 of Pentacles, yeah, the perspective, a perspective shift. And this has tarot cards on it, so maybe the key to the perspective shift will come to you through this, hopefully. But it's like something, you're trying to prove something that you don't need to prove to someone that either isn't worthy of you proving it in the first place, someone who wouldn't care even if you did prove it, or to yourself who already knows the truth and doesn't need to actually prove it. So it's one of them, and it's like keeping you kind of bound and stuck. 3 of Cups. Okay, so less about proving it to yourself. It's proving it to someone else. You're trying to prove something to someone else, but you're believing that you're proving it to yourself, but then you're covering that all up and thinking that you're not trying to actually do that, and that it's a different type of attachment, which there is an attachment, but the attachment between you and the house is present and existent because of the value and meaning that you've assigned to it subconsciously, like energy wise. So Two of Clubs in reverse, a helping hand, a deal, a clock, time, help to overcome obstacles and learn independence. Opposition, a repeated cycle, doubling of something, a favor or a gift, but it was in reverse. So time is up. It's time to a deal, time to overcome obstacles, business partners. It's time to, it's keeping you energetically stuck, and it's time to cut ties. Because it says a repeated cycle, and it's in reverse. So in order to not keep repeating the same cycles that you've been repeating, you need to kind of eliminate the energy that's keeping you in that cycle. 6, you have progress and movements, communication, taking responsibility, a sense of purpose, honorable industry, transport and problem solving. Transport and problem solving. I feel heavily as though you're meant to cut ties. What should your next step be? I feel heavily you're meant to cut ties with the house, because the house, energy-wise, is keeping you stuck in a way that it's almost like your higher self comprehends it just fine, but is using the fact that your current self won't be able to understand it to that level to be able to use it in the way that's being used. Like, your higher self knows that you can't understand it to that level yet, and if you could, then this it wouldn't work for what it's working for. But like on an energy level, it's like you've completed the lesson, now you must release it, right? Yeah, 3 of Wands, looking ahead, planning ahead, figuring, look, there's the 3 lotus flowers as well. So growing through what you went through. What's your next step? 4 of Swords, 6 of Pentacles reverse. Take a little bit of a rest to kind of get everything mentally calm and situated, maybe after hearing this, or maybe just like over the next couple weeks. But 4 of Swords next to the 6 of Pentacles reverse is like, give yourself the break that you know you deserve by putting down the burdens that aren't yours to keep carrying energetically. The Emperor, retaking your power, stepping back into 4 of Swords. The clarifier, the Star reversed, yeah. And Justice. It's almost like the air in the house. And what I mean by that is this. Like the energy that's floating around in the air in the house. It's almost like you can never feel like it's just yours without having memories of the past. It's almost like part of you is a little hesitant to cut ties with the house, because then you don't know if you're going to be in a situation where you find another house that another person will kind of share the space with you, and then the air will be not just yours again, if that makes sense. Like, it feels like an inner child wound that stems from abandonment, or stems from, I guess it would have to be abandonment. 6 of Wands. Yes, yeah. I feel like that's trying to say that that's probably spot on. So an inner child wound that kind of stems from abandonment, and part of you is like, part of you feels that way for the house. Like, I don't want to abandon the house like I was abandoned, because of the value that you've given to what the house means to you energetically and spiritually, because it's been the catalyst for lessons and growth and healing. And at the same time, it's been the catalyst for devastation and destruction and stress. So it's like you have so much of yourself that is present in the house, along with where you thought the house was going to bring you and all of this. So it's like there's part of you that doesn't want to abandon what is left of you in the house, if that makes sense. But then you have to look at it in the same regards, because that's how your brain is showing you it functions. It's seeing the house as having some of you in it. It's also seeing the house as having some of your ex in it. And you can't really consciously think of it that way for yourself without your brain just automatically consciously thinking it that way for your ex. So it's kind of like a double layered thing where, is it comfort and security? Yes, because you're seeing yourself in it, but at the same time, it works the same for your ex. So it's like, because of the way it's like been put in a mixer and mixed together, it feels to me like the best thing to do is to find the fresh energy and to move forward. Yeah, Knight of Pentacles and Eight of Wands reversed. You're fighting a battle against something that, it doesn't even feel like a battle per se, but it feels just like a slow drain of your energy. And with the Knight of Pentacles, a buffalo, wild buffalo. Buffalo. It's like it always, no matter what you do in this house, it always feels like there's an elephant in the room, right? It always feels like there's something unaddressed, or it's like part of your brain just like goes back to the past and sees the current reality through the lenses of the past, even if you feel like you've evolved past that. Seven of Wands, it's like you've given yourself fresh perspective, but because there's still some unhealed elements of it, there's still some things in your subconscious that mess with you about the house. And it's like part of the karmic attachment you have to the house is that you really want to understand why you feel this way and feel so strongly and so deeply. And it's because of all this that's kind of been locked away and is trying to be unlocked and come to the surface. And it's like your previous lifetimes are trying to communicate something to you in this lifetime, but they have to use references from this lifetime to get you to understand it. And the thing that you've assigned that amount of value and meaning to is the house. So that's what they're using to give you these lessons and communicate with you. Insecurity. Please understand your worth, your value, and your purpose here on earth. There is no need to feel small or compare yourself with others. It's like the air, because the air was previously yours and someone else's. If you just drop it, you don't know if you're going to find that again, right? Where it's like what you thought you could have there to some extent. Part of you still is trying to convince yourself that you can't do it. Whatever it is, part of you still is trying to convince yourself that you can't do it. And as I say that, I can't pick this card up. Here we go. Quarrelsome. Does this action fulfill an emotional need for you? Does it make you feel powerful? Is it a bad habit that needs to stop? It's almost like emotional validation in a way. To know that, how do I put this? Nine of Wands. To know that even though you control the environment because your ex is no longer there, it's like you're controlling an environment now that is the same environment that you previously didn't have the control over. So it's like, if you go to a new environment and you always have control, then you don't ever have that, oh, well, I didn't have control and now I do. It really feels like it stems back to whatever childhood incident or, you know, time period really started to make you retreat inwards. It's almost like this is the way that your inner child is coming back out from previously having to retreat in at that time. And that's why it's like you previously had to share the authority of the environment with your ex, right? And now it's yours. So it wasn't always just yours, now it is. So you've stepped into that higher authority. So that's kind of what's keeping you attached here, is if you go to a new place, in order to get that again, you would have to go through the same situation. Otherwise, it's just you always had the authority. It's not like you didn't and then you did, like the switch up there. So it seems as though what really needs to be addressed to make yourself feel comfortable and okay with actually going through with getting rid of this is figuring out, essentially with your childhood trauma or whatever it is that happened when you were younger, figuring out how can you feel safe and satisfied and comfortable even when it's not a battle for control. Because you constantly had to be in a battle for feeling heard or seen or valued, and you're still in that hyper-vigilant, I need to focus on feeling heard, seen, and all of that. And that's why you want that environment where you weren't always the one who had the power to do that, and now you are, because it's like your inner child rising up. So we need to kind of figure out how to unpack that. And it really, like the I is just justice is on the bottom and love in reverse. Oh, and home in reverse. It really is about unpacking whatever you've been carrying for this long time and giving a really hard look at yourself and what it is internally that needs to shift so that externally you feel comfortable knowing that you're full and complete all on your own, and you don't need to compete with anyone to get your needs met, as long as you choose the right people to be around you, which now you have the ability and the knowledge and wisdom to do. Yes. I wish you all the best.